AI agents are writing more and more of your code every month. So here's an interesting thought experiment. Take your most recent project. Now go to your source folder and just delete it. All the code, gone. The only thing left are the docs and specs. Now point an AI assistant at what remains. Can it reconstruct the application? What will you get? Are you thinking, yeah, no big deal? Or does your stomach drop at the thought? For most teams today, that second reaction is the honest one. Here's why that reaction matters. We spent years maintaining old implementations, patching legacy code, running migrations, carrying forward decisions that made sense 3 years ago. But if agents can reliably rebuild the code from clear intent, then maybe code stops being the thing we preserve. Maybe the durable artifact is the intent behind it. So this is the shift we're going to make concrete. Code is becoming easier to regenerate. So the thing that matters most is the thing you regenerate it from. The spec is becoming the source of truth. Let's go back to our thought experiment. If that thought experiment feels reckless, there's a reason. Most of the knowledge needed to rebuild your system was never fully written down. It lives in people's heads. It lives in old code paths. It lives in production incidents, Slack threads, and assumptions that never made it into any document. The intent was never fully captured in the first place. So what would it take to actually capture that intent? Take a simple requirement. Add role-based access control. Sounds clear. But a requirement like this hides a dozen decisions. What is a role exactly? Who can assign one? What wins when permissions conflict? Every unanswered question is a place where the agent has to guess. That's what the intent stack is for, answering them up front. Start with the outcome. What should be true when this feature works? Define the language. Words like role, permission, and resource need to mean one thing. Capture the behavior. What should the system actually do? Then lock down the constraints. What must it never do? Define the interfaces. Where does this feature touch the rest of the system? Add examples. Show what it actually looks like in practice. And finally, acceptance criteria. What has to be true before the work counts as done? Together, these layers form what we'll call the intent stack. And when the intent is clear, code becomes what it was always heading toward. A compiled artifact. Generated from intent. Regenerated when intent changes. At this point, you're probably pushing back. There is no way to reproduce our entire code base from specs. Not the way it exists today. Not with every edge case, historical decision, and production scar baked into it. And we couldn't possibly know every spec up front. Some things only reveal themselves during implementation. Some only reveal themselves when users touch the system. Yes, so let's talk about that. Let's clarify this first. The goal is not to reproduce the exact same code base. It never needed to be. If 4 capable teams built the same feature from the same spec, you'd get 4 different implementations, all of them correct. Your current code base is just one valid implementation. What you actually want is functional reproducibility. Not the same code. The same intended behavior. A good spec doesn't force one answer. It defines what must be true. So when we return to the thought experiment, this is the answer. If the source folder disappears, the goal is not to bring back the old code. It is to preserve what the code was supposed to mean. Okay, so does this mean we start writing down detailed specs for our codebase? To be honest, most teams should not try full spec-as-source tomorrow. Nobody's stopping all work to document everything you've already built. The practical version is smaller. Most teams already have fragments of an intent stack. You have schemas, policies, runbooks, agent files. So just start with the next change you are implementing. A new feature tells you what behavior the system now needs to support. A bug fix reveals an edge case your intent never captured. A production incident exposes an assumption the system was relying on. Over time, each change leaves behind more than code. It leaves behind clearer intent. That's how a mature codebase starts moving toward spec-as-source, by making sure every meaningful change leaves the spec stronger than it found it. Fred Brooks said it in 1987. The hardest part of building a system is deciding precisely what to build. He was right. We just spent 40 years pretending implementation was the hard part because implementation was where all the time went. Now the time is shifting. The hard part is finally where the value is, the intent. And the biggest opportunity now is to become the person who makes that intent clear.